Hello, welcome back to Danger's Workshop. So today we're going to talk about an optional module, and that is in dealing with the 2x4 cuts. So if you have a miter saw like this here, you can skip this section. And if you have a miter saw, you already know how to use it, so I won't spend any time on that. If you don't, then you're going to want to build a miter box. And that's what we're going to be doing here. So we've got some basic tools, of course, 2x4. Got some clamps, a tri-square. You're going to need some screws, and these are 1.25 inches, 1.5 I believe. You just want enough. Yeah, those are 1.5 inches. You want enough to get through the 2x4 and bite into the other side. And I'm using square drive. You can use Phillips, whatever your preference is. I really like the square drive. They stay attached much better, and they don't strip out like a Phillips can do. And of course, you're going to need a drill of some sort. Cordless or corded, doesn't matter. You're going to need a saw and tape measure, some safety glasses to protect those eyeballs. Eyeballs are very expensive, trust me, I know. And this is, you're going to need a little hammer and a chisel. Alright, so let's get started. First thing we're going to do is divide this 2x4 into 3 parts. That's 29 inches, which would be 9.6. We're just going to cut these down to 9.5. So I'm going to make a mark here, and then I'm going to come down and make another mark. Sharpen my pencil. And then another mark. Tri-square to continue those marks across the board. And I'm going to use this tri-square as a guide to actually guide my saw, because I don't really want to wobbling all over the place. So we've clamped the board down, and we've clamped the tri-square right across the line to give us a guide. And so we're just going to make the cut. And there's our first cut. So we'll continue that process. And I'm not going to make you watch me cut every one of these. We'll just fast forward using the magic of video technology, and voila, it's done. So now we've got our 3 pieces, and we're just going to take those and we're going to arrange them into a nifty little box, just like that. And once again, I'm going to break out the clamps. Just screw it together. Looks good to me. I'll put a few more in. Now that the clamps are out of the way. Now we need to put our miter guides in. So I'm going to come in here at 4 3/4. All right. We want also you need a 45 to make the side braces, so I'm just going to cross right through the middle there, which is no problem. But I do need a longer. Yeah, so we're going to extend that, and I'm going to make a mark here. If you have a long enough tri-square, this won't be an issue, but in my case it's too short to get all the way across, so I'm having to work with the tools I have. You can tell I don't normally do things by hand like this. We're trying to create this using the simplest tools possible. All right, so now we want to come in and give our saw a nice little guide there to get started. If you don't do this, it'll wander all over the place. You'll end up with a miter box that's not square. Okay, so we've got our miter box clamped on the bench and we're about to make our cuts. In this case, I want to make sure that I make a square cut going down. So I'm going to use my tri-square here to give me a guide. I'm just going to set it at the appropriate depth. And I'm going to let it keep my saw perfectly parallel. We are there. Okay. So that cut's good. Nice and clean, nice and square. This next one's going to be a bit more challenging. Do essentially the same thing. let it guide me in the front. And there we are. So we now have a completed miter box. We can now do perfectly cut ends as well as cut 45s. So next step is to cut out the frame. Like magic.